Start the day with you all. My name is Giulia, and I'm the Advocacy Coordinator at UISG, which means that since 2020, my role has been to support and to nurture UISG networks and UISG congregations in their commitment to global justice issues, including, of course, the fight to end the scourge of human trafficking. So today, I am really just here to introduce myself, to listen and to learn from you all, to meet as many of you as possible, I hope, throughout the day, in order to guide, to moderate some of the thematic sessions that will be starting tomorrow. So I want to open with a very warm welcome. I want to thank you all for being in this room. I know some of you have traveled from far and wide. I want to welcome all of you sisters and brothers. I want to welcome our technicians and interpreters, photographers, videographers, my colleagues at UISG and beyond, all of the people who are making this assembly possible. It's wonderful to see many familiar faces and many new ones as well. So I want to open with a couple of announcements. I know that today is a special day in many ways, and amongst those many ways, we're celebrating a birthday, I hear. So Father Bernard, can I ask you kindly to stand? Wonderful. A happy birthday. There may be singing later, but we'll save it. Having just sung, we'll save it for later. Now, I also am delighted to have the honor of introducing a change in the program and of introducing our esteemed keynote speaker for the afternoon, which is all of you. So the change in the program is that we will have more space than anticipated this afternoon to reflect and to discuss, to think really about what we want to achieve from this assembly, where this is taking us, what questions are guiding us. We're sorry, of course, that Cardinal Tagle cannot join us, and we pray for him. We know that he's not well. We pray for his speedy recovery. But I'm really delighted that we do have more time to settle in to the deep questions that will be guiding this conversation over the next few days. And so without further ado, I really just want to take a moment to reflect on the symbols that you've all laid out this morning, and to reflect on the fact that these symbols are a testament to the incredible diversity in this room. And I think not only of the diversity of your own identities and your own experiences, but also the incredible diversity of the spirits of the people that you bring into this room. And I want to celebrate that because it's something that sisters are so uniquely wonderful at achieving, bringing into any room that they inhabit the spirits of the people that you serve, the people that you walk alongside, the people with whom you fight for justice. So thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing those spirits with you. And without further ado, a warm round of applause for Sister Abby. Thank you.
Maybe I better use this. Thank you so much, Giulia, for the beautiful introduction. Of course, our dear friend Paula for beautiful leading us for the opening ritual. It's so powerful. It's really the Holy Spirit is leading us. So thank you. bear with me with my voice. As you know, I sang a lot yesterday, so, no, but I'm just joking. So thank you. And of course, I'm with Sister Mary Barron. We're very, very grateful for her presence today. So without further ado, I'd like to really officially greet you, and also for all those people who are joining online. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon for those of you. So sisters and brothers, we are all here together. Happy Pentecost Day. So we gather together when the time of Pentecost is fulfilled in the year 2024 to celebrate this great peace at the opening of the Talitha Second General Assembly. It's an honor to welcome you all. We gather from more than 90 countries, from every continent, men, women, religious members, lay people, our clergy, young people, and even our survivors who are committed to eradicating human trafficking. So officially, I would like to present to, especially to Sister Mary Barron and the UISG, who are also probably joining us online, our delegates. So let's acknowledge and welcome to all delegates. I will call, please stand, from the Middle East, who are from the Middle East, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria. Please stand, acknowledge yourself. Our delegates from Asia, please stand. We have 14 countries from Asia. From Oceania, please stand. And we have 8 countries now in Oceania. In Africa, please stand. The growing network of Talitha from Africa. Thank you, sisters. From Latin America and Caribbean. Thank you, sisters. And of course, from North America, representing Canada and USA. Thank you so much. And of course, Europe, from Europe, many, many countries in Europe. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, for our guests and our friends and brothers online, thank you so much, and I welcome you. This is not going to happen without your support. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for your dedication as we continue our commitment in this journey. Thank you for our sisters, brother who just also joined online. So with especially at this point, I'd like to acknowledge, so our growing network, I'd like to acknowledge our presence of Sister Gabriela Botani, my predecessor. Thank you so much. Thank you. And before us, of course, our dear sisters who gone before us, Sister Estrella Castellone. Sister Estrella Castellone was the first international coordinator, and together with her, the beginning of this network was Sister Bernadette Sagma. Both of them were the 2 icons behind these networks. So thank you. I also acknowledge so many other sisters that implemented the decision of UISG plenary. assembly in 2001. This is not going to happen. I think Sister Pat Murray will give this message later on, the history, how it became the Talitha Cum through these years. So now it's 15th anniversary since establishment, official establishment in 2009. So Talitha Cum International Network has been caring for wounded humanity for years. Now by trying to act on inequalities caused by political, economic, and social system. So with this mission to end human trafficking, so Talitha Cum is international sister-led networks against human trafficking. This has become a network of networks. So human trafficking has grown significantly. Talitha Cum networks all over the world making these changes happen to continue its commitment to fight against human trafficking and exploitation through prevention, formation, advocacy, and action, and of course in prayer. So this year, the theme for this assembly is journeying together to end human trafficking, compassion in action for transformation. My voice is going. So this assembly has 5 objectives: sharing and listening to the different realities. Thank you. Thank you, Paula. So the assembly has 5 objectives: sharing and listening to the different realities from the grassroots, embracing Talitha Cum's identity and diversity as an international network of networks, strengthening relationships, networking, and collaboration, revisiting Talitha Cum's priorities for action in the fight in emerging realities, and of course, celebrating the 15 years of Talitha Cum. So we are all invited to give thanks to God for this journey together, to evaluate and to plan toward the future. At the end of the assembly, we will set the priorities together for the Talitha Cum 2025 to 2030, and this is our aim for this assembly during this time that being together here at Sacrofano. And we will be presented this to the UISG executive. So in the spirit of journeying together, the Talitha Cum General Assembly began with the grassroots. As you know, many of you received this process, began last year. And later on, you will hear this during the synthesis report. So this assembly should reflect the beautiful diversity of the network by bringing together the stories and voices of all members, both experienced and new, religious and laity, young and old, and inspired by synodal mission of Pope Francis. So the assembly is a unique time to meet, dialogue, and most importantly, define the strategies we will adopt in the coming years to combat human trafficking and exploitation in all parts of the world. So we share our successes and challenges, and we continue that until this time, listening to the new and different voices and doing it together is the key of ourselves and strengthening ourselves and becoming more effective in our action. So this must be encouraged us to join the forces led by the Holy Spirit, and today is really, really fitting for this occasion because of the Pentecost. Spreading the light and that comes from the Christ and His gospel by reaching out to those who play the decisive role in the effort to eradicate human trafficking. Only through joint and systemic actions along the multiple levels of commitment will be possible to contribute for transformations that we hope for. So again, I'm grateful for the support of our partnerships in this journey. I'm grateful for the support of the UISG board and its members for entrusting Talitha members with the prophetic voice, mission, initiative as we journey together in our commitment to fight against human trafficking. I am grateful also, of course, our partners in mission, our donors, and most of all, to God's love that leads us towards compassion and action for transformation. As the opening of the assembly today, the Pentecost, with the gift of the Spirit, everything is possible. Today is Pentecost, which we want to celebrate so that we can be transformed by the action of the Holy Spirit. With that, because I don't have more voice, I officially open the Talitha Second General Assembly. Thank you for all commitment, for all the sisters at online, thank you. Okay, as we continue this journey, I'd like also to introduce Sister Mary Barron. Sister Mary Barron is the president of UISG, and we'll be delighted here of her presence. Over to you, sister.
Good morning. Bonjour. Buongiorno. J'y arrive. Demela. Habari za asubuhi? So, it is Pentecost. We continue in this journey of many languages. And as the president of the UISG, it is really my profound honor to be before you today as you gather in assembly to celebrate a milestone of courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment. It's the 15th anniversary of Talitha Kum. And as we stand at this juncture, we reflect on a journey that has been illuminated by unwavering commitment and tireless efforts to combat human trafficking and support its survivors. So as we begin, I would invite us all to call to mind the people whom our paths have crossed in the context of Talitha Kum, who are not here in this room. Perhaps it is a survivor of trafficking, or perhaps someone still struggling under the trauma of what they have endured. Perhaps it's a small group of committed people who advocate for change of legislation in their country. Or perhaps we can think of those who help to rescue people who have endured or are continuing to endure this modern slavery that is human trafficking. Or perhaps we think of someone or a little group who work tirelessly to help survivors to stand up and take their place in society with dignity. Or maybe it is a group who work tirelessly to raise awareness of the insidious and hidden nature of human trafficking. Let us just take a moment to call to mind someone or a group and hold them in our hearts with gratitude. All of these little commitments all over the globe add up to a sustained fight against human trafficking. It's a struggle that somehow embodies the principles of a theology of liberation. Human trafficking, a grave violation of human rights, is a scourge that plagues our world, stripping individuals of their dignity, freedom, and their fundamental rights. It's a modern form of slavery that demands a bold and compassionate response. In our collective efforts to combat this heinous crime, we are not merely engaging in social activism. We are bringing to life a theology of liberation that champions the intrinsic worth of every human being. The theology of liberation, deeply rooted in Christian thought, calls us to stand in solidarity with the oppressed and to work tirelessly for their emancipation. It is a call to action, a call to transform society by freeing those shackled by the chains of exploitation. By actively participating in the global movement against human trafficking, we are answering this divine call. Pope Francis, in his messages and addresses, has consistently highlighted the moral imperative to fight against the trafficking of human beings. He urges us to open our eyes to the suffering of the victims and to act with courage and determination to end their plight. His words serve as a powerful reminder that our faith is not passive, but demands active engagement in the pursuit of justice and the restoration of human dignity. So as we join hands in this noble cause, we are not only responding to a moral duty, but also enacting the very essence of the theology of liberation. We are participating in the sacred work of creating a world where freedom is not a privilege, but a right afforded to all. Our actions against human trafficking are concrete expressions of our commitment to a world where every individual can live a life marked by respect, honor, and liberty. Let us continue to be inspired by the strength and resilience of survivors. And let us honor their journey by committing ourselves to the eradication of human trafficking. Together, we make a difference, and together, we can bring the theology of liberation to life. And it is in this togetherness that Talitha has emerged as a force for good, as a force for liberation. In the spirit of our shared mission, we have witnessed the extraordinary growth of this network, which has become a global force against the scourge of human trafficking. It's just amazing to be here, to have 90 countries here together, thinking 15 years ago how this began. To see the reach and the impact is just amazing. So 15 years ago, Talitha arose as a beacon of hope, a testament to what can be achieved when compassion and action converge. This network, spanning across continents and cultures, has not only raised awareness, but has also fostered a global community dedicated to the protection of human dignity. For 15 years, Talitha has been the hands and the feet of hope, reaching out to the most vulnerable, offering solace, and igniting the flame of freedom where there was once the darkness of despair. As we look back, we are inspired by the resilience of those who have been touched by the darkness of exploitation, yet have emerged with the light of hope. We honor the advocates, the volunteers, the supporters, and every individual who has contributed to the fabric of this extraordinary network. The journey has been long and the battles hard fought, but the victories, each life reclaimed, each story of survival, these are all testaments to the power of faith in action. As UISG, we have seen the embodiment of our values in the work of Talitha, and we stand in solidarity with every effort to heal, to empower, and to uplift. Today, we are not merely celebrating the years that have passed, we celebrate every life that has been touched, the chains that have been broken, and the future that we are building together. Let us continue to echo the call of Talitha, little girl, I say to you, arise. For it is a call to action, a call to life, and a call to the promise of a world without slavery. Today, as we begin this assembly and celebrate this significant anniversary, let us rekindle our collective resolve to continue this crucial work. Let us forge ahead with renewed vigor, knowing that each step we take is a stride towards a world free of slavery. May all the deliberations that take place during this time together in assembly enable us to identify the key priorities that will guide the commitments in this area, as Abby said, from 2025 to 2030. Let the next 15 years be marked by even greater achievements as we strive not only to liberate the oppressed, but to dismantle the very systems that perpetuate injustice. Thank you, and thank all of your collaborators all over the world for being the change makers, for being the guardians of hope, and for believing in the power of Talitha, little girl, I say to you, arise. In a spirit of synodality, it is together that we rise. So on behalf of UISG, I extend our heartfelt congratulations to Talitha. May the next 15 years be even more impactful as we strive side by side for justice, dignity, and the sanctity of every human life. May our collective efforts continue to be blessed. Wishing you every success for a fruitful and enjoyable assembly. Thank you very much. Not with me. I'll send it later.
Thank you so much, Sister Mary. That was very inspiring message, and of course, we hold it in our hearts. So thank you on behalf of our Talitha members all over the world. So with that, of course, this is not going to happen, this assembly, without the collaborative effort of our team, of our network. Wherever you are, every single voice will be heard in this assembly. So we began this journey, the preparation of the assembly, since last year. Of course, we really needed to ask collaborators, our team, and I would like to introduce, of course, part of our organizing team is Sister Maria Simperman, Sister Angela Nemeleaki, and three members actually. Julian, would you please stand? Julian Paparella, a part of the project membership. Sister Anne Ostrich, as many of you know. And Marion Paparella is one of our, of course, the international team member. So we really patiently looking and trying to do the process as smoothly as possible, getting into the single network. So bear with us if you think we're very pushy, but you will hear it later on, the fruit of our work. So now we have also to acknowledge the participation with the support of the TKICC of this General Assembly. And unfortunately, one of the members, of course, Sister Colleen Jackson, she was to come today, but as, something happened. Her brother died, so she had to return back. But she was very much part of this process. And of course, our TKICC member, Sister Adina, please, from Europe. Sister Isabel from Canada. Sister Annette Arnold from Oceania. Thank you. Sister Yvonne Bambara from Africa. And our dear friend Paula, but she's joining us online, so she could not come from Asia. So she's with us. Of course, Sister Carmen of Latin America. Sister Carmen, yeah, from Latin America. So thank you all for all this effort, and of course, our work is going to really deepen with this in this part of the gathering. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Angela and Maria really to explain or introduce the process of this assembly in details. So I'll pass on to Maria and Angela. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Abby and Sister Mary Barron. Thank you for your wisdom shared, but also a food of thought to put us and to invite us to be on the journey. So the process of this assembly, as the theme explains, is journeying together. Journeying together with passion and compassion. The process as such, it is a multiple approach in living the experience. Our time here is about living our experience of being together, expressing this deep desire to fight against human trafficking. So the process is about trusting and respecting what each one is bringing on board, but also what I hear. We have just heard Mary Barron telling us it is a journey of listening to each other, but also speaking intentionally to each other. And we will find out that during this assembly, we are going to use what the Mother Church is proposing us. Conversation in the Spirit. Most of our sharing, it will be conversation in the Spirit. Why? This invites us to live what we wish to promote the dignity of a human person. When a person is heard, when the person is listened, when a person feels I have shared my story and it has been respected, it is a gift we can give to each other. And you'll discover, to some of you it is new, this process, but we will explain to you. In a small groups, this process will be used, this method will be used of conversation in the Spirit. You want to unfold more?
I can do the reframing before we get Giulia.
So I'll pass on to Maria Simperman to unfold more before she passes on to Julian. Welcome.
And again, good morning and happy Pentecost. it's the gift, so always feel free in any language you know to name those. And we have the gifts of the Spirit from all these places, all these years. And as Sister Mary Barron said, this is about both acknowledging what has been and also looking forward to say, how do we, as she said, acknowledge the call of the change makers here, those who've survived difficulties, those who are accompanying people. And also the second part is to dismantle these structures. So you come with all of this experience from the globe. What I want to do is, again, just underline some of the shifting, and I look at it as a gift of the Spirit. When we heard that Cardinal Tagle also lost his voice, we asked Sister Abby, have you been talking to Cardinal Tagle? Because you're both losing your voice. And perhaps this is the moment to also acknowledge the voices that will be coming forth this morning and this afternoon. What we've been presented with is another way of having a keynote. The global synthesis is your voice from all these countries, from all these people and the stories and the witness. So we are reframing with what we sense is the gifted invitation to us. And so you will be hearing a synthesis of all of the voices that have come forth. We ask you this morning to have your notebooks out and to be taking some notes, things that strike you, because in the afternoon we will be following up on this. And so to be listening to this and to say, what are we hearing from the globe that is inviting us as Talitha Cum for the next 5 years, for the next, and we shall see. So to just name this space as the key, the note is going to be for that. And we'll invite the note takers this afternoon to their job, but not yet. So we will do just a brief invitation to come up here of 3 of the people who will be offering the synthesis report. And so we have with us Julian Paparella, who's on our Global Steering Committee. We have with us Sister Ann Ostrick, IHM, who's also on the Global Steering Committee, and Marian Paparella also on there. You'll see that Julian and Marian are connected. It's actually a couple. So this is how Talitha Cum has also evolved. Sisters are here, and we know the only way we can eradicate something so global is to invite what Pope Francis says, todos, 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 everyone, everyone. We're all working together. And so we invite Julian, Sister Ann, and Marian to come up here.
As Julian and the team are coming, maybe let's just stand for 1 second and shake a bit, because what they are going to share with us is great. Loa, 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 loa. Thank you.
We can give them.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Okay? Étant donné que je suis canadien, je profite de cette occasion aussi pour exprimer le bilingualisme canadien. Donc, un chaleureux bienvenue à tous mes compatriotes canadiennes et aussi à toutes ceux et celles qui sont ici de la langue française, ma anche della lingua italiana, la lingua spagnola, la molto bella lingua portoghesa et aussi for our English-speaking guests this morning. There are a few of you here. Round of applause. It's a joy to be with you on this Pentecost morning. I'm joined here by my wife and also by my sister, but sister in Christ. And we're very delighted, the three of us, to share with you some fruits of this global listening process that Talitha Cum embarked on, and which I imagine you're all very much aware of, because I'm sure that many of you have been personally involved. We received reports and contributions, videos from 56 different networks, and I think that's an extraordinary achievement. So please give yourselves and your networks a round of applause. And as Sister Maria was just mentioning, this listening process that we wanted to bring to light as a key way of preparing for this General Assembly finds its home in this process of synodality that the whole Church has been embarking upon for 3 years now. Has anyone heard of synodality before? Yes, good. As Pope Francis has said, the path of synodality is God's call for the Church in the 3rd millennium. So we're looking ahead to these next 5 years of Talitha Cum in the light of these past 15 years of its history. But Pope Francis is saying that synodality is this style, this approach, this way of being and journeying together that God expects of the Church for the next 1,000 years. So it's good for us to get used to it, to start practicing it, to start living it out. And I think one of the ways that we can become a synodal church at the service of the world, listening to the cry of the men and women of people today, is precisely by becoming a more synodal Talitha Cum. Now, what does that look like? I think the first way that we can start living that out is precisely this listening process in which we have engaged, listening to the grassroots, listening to the stories of the real people that you work with, that you minister to on a daily basis, those people that are really the heart of the mission of Talitha Cum, starting by listening to them, starting by journeying with them, so that we journey together not just as delegates in this room, but we journey together as a whole network of networks moving forward to carry out our mission together. On a personal note, going through the various reports and contributions that you offered, I have to say that I was deeply touched, deeply moved, and I think I speak for the whole organizing committee that was reading through your reports, that was trying to come up with some kind of synthesis, the stories that you shared, the dreams that you expressed, the challenges, the difficulties, but also the immense hopes, the joys, the fruits that you shared with us were very inspiring as we look through them, and we hope that by starting with this listening process from the ground up, we can also be inspired during this General Assembly as we look ahead to the next 5 years. So this presentation this morning by the three of us, we've sort of titled it Journeying Together as a Network of Networks, listening at the local level, sharing with you everything that you shared with us from what you heard at the local level. And it's going to happen in 2 parts. Firstly, looking back at these 15 years, Sister Anne will help us look at some of the reasons why we're so grateful for what has happened in these 15 years and some of the main fruits. Then we'll also look at some of the ways that you have tried to carry out some of those key issues that Talitha Kum faces, like migration, like the empowerment of women, like neoliberal economic structures. We'll also look then at moving forward. What's coming up? What are some of the challenges that we face that are maybe also opportunities as we walk ahead? What are some of those emerging issues like technology, like conflict, etc.? And then finally, what are some of the creative ways by which we can move forward, forging the path ahead? So the three of us will sort of lead you in this journey, first looking backwards at these first 15 years, and then later on in the second section, looking ahead to the future to come. So without further ado, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Julian. Good morning, everyone, and blessed Pentecost. It's so good to be together in this beautiful place to begin our important work this week. We begin, of course, by thanking God for those who have gone before us and worked to form and lead Talitha Kum over the past 15 years. Their vision, passion, and leadership continues to serve as inspiration for us as we move forward together. Two people we can never thank enough are Sister Gabriella Botani, who served as International Coordinator for 8 years and led us through a time of amazing growth in our network. And a heartfelt thank you to our coordinator now, Sister Abby Avelino, who promotes and supports the growth and expansion of Talitha Kum, which continues to this day, along with the talented, dedicated women who have joined the TK staff. As Julian said, in preparation for the assembly, we invited all of our member networks to reflect on the past 15 years of working together. In your reflections, you told us that you are grateful for the coordination, leadership, formation, networking, and opportunities for communication, and the continued learning that Talitha Kum makes possible. You appreciate being part of this global network of networks and for the encouragement that we offer to each other as we work to further our mission of ending human trafficking and exploitation, to support survivors, and to partner and learn from them as together we address the systemic causes of this assault on human dignity. You are grateful for the survivors who walk with us, share their experiences with us, teach and advise us, and continually inspire our work. You are grateful for the amazing members of the laity who join us wholeheartedly in this work, and for the young people, the youth ambassadors, the change makers, who bring new life and positive energy to Talitha Kum. And you told us that you are especially grateful for the International Day of Prayer and Awareness and the Marathon of Prayer that happens each February 8th. But let me share with you some of your own gracious words of appreciation. From Latin America. The network has been a prophetic presence that is committed to promoting the dignity of each life and to help raise awareness in congregations throughout the Catholic community. From Vietnam, Talitha Kum's tireless commitment has been a wake-up call for society and the church to take specific, practical measures to prevent human trafficking. From North America, we appreciate the global vision of Talitha Kum, the cutting-edge training from the network, and the creative space for each member network which enables us to reflect the culture in which we were created. And you shared with us some of the fruits of being part of this network. Once again, in your words, from Oceania, one fruit is the training of healthcare workers to recognize human trafficking and put this knowledge into action. From Romania, we see the fruits in the ever-increasing involvement of lay people and associations that promote initiatives at the political level for the respect of human rights. We notice at the local level a greater sensitivity and preparation of lawyers and judges in promoting justice for victims of trafficking. And from Kenya, collaborative efforts with local authorities and law enforcement agencies facilitated prompt responses and efficient safe rescue operations. Safe houses were identified, providing survivors with immediate food, shelter, and medical care, and long-term trauma counseling, educational opportunities, and legal support. This is just a small sample of the fruits of the work of the amazing people in this room. Thank you. Marion?
Merci beaucoup, Sœur Anne, Julian. Je vais parler en français. Une autre des questions à laquelle beaucoup de réseaux ont répondu, c'est comment avez-vous pu aborder les 3 priorités de Talitha jusqu'à présent? Ces 3 priorités qui avaient été identifiées pendant la première assemblée de Talitha en 2019. La première, c'était la migration, l'autonomisation des femmes et le néolibéralisme, notre système économique actuel qui privilégie la marchandisation, le profit, le libre-échange au détriment des personnes. Pour commencer avec la migration, les réseaux sont parfaitement conscients du rôle considérable que joue la migration dans la réalité de la traite, dans notre monde de plus en plus globalisé. Les déplacements entre pays exposent les personnes au risque de traite, tout comme les déplacements en interne. Les facteurs d'attraction et de répulsion, c'est-à-dire ce qui pousse les gens à partir et ce qui incite les gens à aller dans un autre pays, sont souvent liés au chômage et à la pauvreté, ce qui signifie également que les victimes sont souvent prises, capturées, alors qu'elles sont à la recherche d'un emploi ou d'une vie meilleure. Les conflits, les guerres et les déplacements climatiques sont des causes de plus en plus fréquentes de migration et donc parfois de traite. Les réseaux ont fait face à la question complexe de la migration en fournissant une assistance, une formation et des conseils juridiques aux personnes migrantes, aux personnes réfugiées, en collaborant avec des organisations gouvernementales et non gouvernementales, et en plaidant pour des changements de politique et des stratégies nationales qui soutiennent les migrants. Pour la deuxième priorité, autonomisation des femmes. De nombreux réseaux ont déployé d'autres efforts considérables pour renforcer l'autonomie des femmes. Cela débute par l'encouragement de la confiance, de l'estime de soi, de la dignité au niveau personnel. L'un des domaines d'intervention privilégiés consiste à doter les femmes de compétences et de formations professionnelles, à développer leurs talents, à les aider, les accompagner pour acquérir une indépendance financière, par exemple par le biais de micro-entreprises. Cette démarche s'accompagne d'efforts visant à promouvoir leur égalité dans la société et à reconnaître leurs droits sur le plan juridique et politique. Pour la troisième priorité, la lutte contre le néolibéralisme. Il est largement reconnu par les réseaux, par vous, que les systèmes économiques sans entrave exacerbent la vulnérabilité des populations et l'exploitation des travailleurs, augmentant ainsi le risque de la traite. Cette situation est particulièrement grave lorsque les personnes sont vendues comme des marchandises ou que la recherche du profit prime sur les droits de l'homme et les droits du travail. Nous prenons un exemple qui a été cité par la Thaïlande. Nous nous sommes activement engagés auprès des communautés locales pour favoriser la compréhension et promouvoir des initiatives de consolidation de la paix autour des questions de migration. Nos collaborations avec des organisations gouvernementales et non gouvernementales nous ont permis de plaider en faveur de changements politiques, en poussant à la mise en place de stratégies nationales qui soutiennent les migrants. Ces efforts ne sont pas passés inaperçus. La reconnaissance par le gouvernement, au moyen de dons de prix, de contributions exceptionnelles à la lutte contre la traite des êtres humains, témoigne de notre impact dans ce domaine. Notre travail de promotion du rôle sociétal des femmes fortes et courageuses a modifié les perceptions au sein de l'Église et au-delà, inspirant une plus grande collaboration. Malgré les limites opérationnelles, telles que la difficulté d'atteindre les femmes vivant dans des régions éloignées ou celles qui sont victimes de circonstances spécifiques, notre engagement reste inébranlable. Nous reconnaissons la nécessité d'augmenter les ressources et le budget pour soutenir pleinement les femmes, en particulier les victimes. Et nous visons à cultiver une nouvelle génération de personnel à l'écoute des besoins et des problèmes de la société. Pour relever les défis posés par le néolibéralisme, nous nous inspirons des enseignements de l'Église, en particulier de l'encyclique Fratelli Tutti, Tous les mondes et frères, du pape François. Ces conseils nous poussent à adopter une approche ouverte et positive, même face aux limites. Nous comprenons que nous ne pouvons pas aider tout le monde, mais en embrassant cette mission collectivement, nous pouvons étendre notre portée et notre impact en apportant de l'aide à un plus grand nombre de personnes. Une autre question clé à laquelle beaucoup de réseaux, à laquelle vous avez répondu, c'est que signifie pour vous la mission et la spiritualité de Talitha Kum? Parce que la mission de Talitha Kum est animée par la spiritualité, qui est vivante dans le cœur des réseaux et des membres à travers le monde. Vous avez exprimé la mission en termes de lutte contre la traite des personnes et pour l'accompagnement des survivants d'une manière holistique. Les réseaux envisagent la spiritualité de Talitha Kum sous différents angles. Beaucoup soulignent l'inspiration biblique qui a donné son nom au réseau. Jésus appelant la petite fille à se lever. Talitha Kum, je te dis, lève-toi. Tout comme Dieu a soulevé son peuple et l'a sorti de l'esclavage en Égypte. Le travail de Talitha Kum est perçu comme la continuation de l'œuvre de Dieu dans le monde d'aujourd'hui. Dieu est présent pour apporter l'espoir et la guérison au milieu du désespoir et pour faire briller la lumière qui dissipe les ténèbres. Il existe dans les réseaux un profond désir de répondre avec compassion à la souffrance de tant de personnes, en étant attentif à leurs cris, en écoutant leurs histoires, comme base pour avancer ensemble sur un chemin de transformation. Au fur et à mesure que Talitha grandit, on se rend compte que toutes les personnes impliquées ne partagent pas la même foi. En même temps, il est largement reconnu que la prière et la spiritualité sont vitales pour la fécondité de la mission. Nous entendons maintenant une citation directement de Talitha Togo. La spiritualité de Talitha est de se tenir debout, avec courage et espoir, aux côtés des victimes et des survivants de la traite des êtres humains, dont les mains se tendent vers nous, pour promouvoir un monde juste, dans lequel chaque être humain peut vivre dans la dignité. Je suis venue pour que les brebis aient la vie en abondance. Évangile de Jean. La foi et l'amour rendent tangible la présence de Dieu, transformant les situations désespérées et ramenant à la vie ce qui semble mort. Je passe maintenant le micro à Giulia.
Merci, Marion. So to echo what you shared, what the network shared as some of the joys and the reasons for hope that we have experienced in these 15 years of Talitha Kum, as well as some of the real-life stories of how people's lives have changed for the better. Across the networks, there is the sentiment that the survivors themselves are the primary motivation for the work of Talitha Kum. I cite here one phrase from Albania: "Joy and hope are found in the eyes of survivors who are rebuilding their lives." The hope of helping survivors and the joy of seeing their lives change for the better are like oil lamps that burn in the hearts of many members of Talitha Kum, inspiring their efforts against human trafficking. The stories of countless survivors, which often go untold, reveal what is at stake and encourage the networks to persevere amidst difficulties. Networks also find joy in creating a community across countries and continents, as we are doing here in this General Assembly, belonging to a family that spans the entire world and makes them feel that they are not alone as they face the scourge of human trafficking. From the Philippines, some of the joys and reasons for hope that we experience: being part of the victims' freedom from modern-day slavery, activating the collaboration of more religious, seeing hope in the participation of the youth, the joy of being able to help someone who is illegally recruited and trafficked in our country. We are hopeful that through good networking and collaboration, we are able to save and help those in need. Helping a trafficked woman from Eritrea changed her life for the better. She decided to stay in the Philippines for fear of going back to her country. She worked hard to get a decent job to support herself and her 7-year-old son. You also touched upon the implementation of Talitha Kum's call to action. The call to action was seen by many networks as a compass orienting the action of the networks who have striven to put it into practice. Its holistic, integral approach to human trafficking is particularly appreciated. Many concrete steps have been taken towards its implementation, including providing psychological and spiritual support for victims, offering training for young people and vulnerable populations, and launching anti-trafficking campaigns. Many networks have sought to be proactive, amplifying the impact of the work by forging alliances and combining efforts with other organizations on the local, national, and international levels. They desire to continue making progress, journeying forward on the path ahead. as Pakistan shared, the four main objectives of the call to action, caring for victims, healing wounds, empowering individuals, and restoring human dignity, reflect a holistic perspective. The alignment with Pope Francis's message adds a moral dimension to the call, emphasizing the importance of an economy rooted in care and ethical practices. The focus on sustainable and integral development, considering the environmental crisis, demonstrates a forward-looking perspective. However, successful implementation would depend on the commitment and collaboration of various stakeholders, including religious institutions, governments, civil society, and the private sector. It's crucial for these entities to work together to create a supportive environment for victims, survivors, and individuals at risk. We believe that the call to action provides a well-rounded framework, but its effectiveness hinges on widespread commitment, cooperation, and sustained efforts from a diverse range of stakeholders, and that this framework is one that is very well thought and carefully curated. However, it will require extensive work and struggle to even implement a part of it in our general society and daily lives. Having concluded this first part of looking back, we now look ahead, moving forward. And you'll hear again from the three of us, starting with Sister Anne, then Marion, and myself, as we hear what you had to say about the questions that were part of this section. Sister Anne.
Thank you, Julian. We heard again from all of you in the networks that there are some challenges that we faced, need to continue to face, old challenges and new. Almost unanimously, networks expressed the need for sustained funding for programs addressing the root causes of human trafficking and survivor assistance to assure their sustainability over the long term. Increased migration and global climate change has led to more trafficking in all forms throughout the globe. The increase in terrorism and violence in the world, resulting in the kidnapping of persons and they are trafficked then as soldiers, minors, agricultural workers, and are sexually exploited, has also increased, and human trafficking needs to be addressed more effectively by us. And online trafficking has increased exponentially, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. But the one thing you made exceptionally clear is this: the networking relationships and partnerships among the member networks of Talitha Cum, nourished by the office in Rome, are a source of strength and support that is valued by all of us. Our hope going forward is that these relationships will continue to deepen and grow within the next 5 years. Marion?
Merci Anne. Quelles sont les questions émergentes qui affectent la traite dans notre zone locale et notre région? Certaines questions semblent être communes à pratiquement tous les contextes. Il s'agit notamment de la technologie et des réseaux sociaux, qui deviennent l'un des moyens les plus fréquents et les plus efficaces utilisés par les trafiquants pour recruter. D'autres questions émergentes, très répandues à travers les réseaux, comprennent la migration, souvent liée au chômage, un sentiment croissant de désespoir chez les jeunes, les déplacements climatiques, les catastrophes naturelles, les crises sanitaires telles que la pandémie de Covid-19, les travailleurs sans papier et l'exploitation sexuelle. Les progrès scientifiques ouvrent également de nouveaux horizons à la traite, notamment la maternité de substitution, le prélèvement d'organes et l'intelligence artificielle. Certains problèmes sont plus aigus, plus graves et affectent certains réseaux, bien plus que d'autres. Il s'agit notamment du terrorisme, qui provoque des enlèvements et des détournements, et favorise fortement la traite, ainsi que de la guerre, qui provoque un afflux de réfugiés, pouvant mettre à rude épreuve les pays voisins. La corruption des gouvernements, l'inadéquation des cadres juridiques, l'inefficacité de l'application de la loi, les mariages forcés, le trafic de drogue et d'armes et la prévalence du crime organisé sont également des facteurs qui ont un impact plus important dans certaines régions que dans d'autres.
And so, based on the responses to these questions on the local level, one of the key questions that was posed is, what is the way forward for the next 5 years? And indeed, that's one of the main objectives of this General Assembly, is to look ahead and to see what are some of the priorities based on the challenges we face, based on the emerging issues, based on the paths of these last 15 years. How do we go forward from here? How do we live out our mission? What do we prioritize? Many networks have outlined significant steps and orientations to guide the mission of Talitha Kum in these next 5 years. Key priorities that you underlined include diversifying the membership within networks, giving youth and lay people a more leading role, strengthening partnerships, creating synergies inside and outside of Talitha Kum, collaborating with government and civil society, supporting survivors in a holistic manner, developing comprehensive healing approaches, promoting the role of survivors within networks, listening to them and empowering them as leaders and protagonists, fostering prevention through education, working for advocacy and policy change, addressing root causes of human trafficking, enhancing communication in and between networks, and embracing technology and social media as means of combating human trafficking. For example, in Albania, we heard that there is a need to look at the role of religious men and women as catalysts. No longer can it be seen that religious can possibly work in isolation. Lay people are equal partners in this mission and need to be recognized by Talitha Kum in this way. A closer coming together in every continent of the world where Talitha Kum networks are operating. It doesn't matter whether they are called Talitha Kum or not. If they are in the network, open wide the door and gather the strength from the widened net, drawing all into one strong voice for justice, truth, and freedom. Likewise, from India, we want others to know that this network is a blessing. This is a platform for the weary to find rest and consolation from like-minded people. It is a collective witness to the world, the collective presence of women for a cause, to uphold human dignity of each person. Thousands are rescued when millions are still in darkness. If Talitha Kum had not come to the rescue of women religious as a beacon of light, there would have been a culture of lost humanity. God is inviting us to follow the synodal journey that has begun, to extend our hand to the most stigmatized, marginalized, and the faceless humanity. Let us move forward, strengthening the religious, encouraging and empowering the younger generation to work relentlessly for this faceless humanity. You also outlined a number of creative solutions. We'll just highlight some of them here. These are ways of transforming and combating the reality of human trafficking in your country in a compassionate way. To unlock the creativity of transforming and combating the reality of human trafficking, networks have underlined the importance of engaging young people, making use of technology, especially social media, and finding new ways of communicating and raising awareness about human trafficking, such as through the arts, poetry, novels, comics, and publicity campaigns. It was also suggested that digital means be used to provide assistance, to foster community, and offer training, for example, through hotlines for victims, mobile apps for reporting, virtual support communities for survivors, and interactive online workshops. Taking a more synodal approach, it was also suggested that the victims and survivors themselves play a key role in envisaging new ways of preventing the reality of human trafficking and accompanying those who suffer because of it. So, for example, from Pakistan, our primary recommendation is the implementation of robust digital awareness campaigns. Leveraging the influence of social media platforms, these campaigns can disseminate compelling narratives, impactful visuals, and factual information. By educating the public about the signs and consequences of human trafficking, we aim to inspire collective action for prevention. Additionally, we suggest organizing interactive virtual workshops and webinars, providing a platform for experts, survivors, and community leaders to share insights and foster open dialogues on combating human trafficking. These online events can transcend geographical limitations and reach a diverse audience. Social media platforms present another avenue to engage the public. Encouraging users to share informative content, personal stories, or acts of kindness related to combating human trafficking can create a viral movement, amplifying our message. To enhance collaboration, we recommend establishing online forums where individuals, NGOs, and government agencies can exchange resources, strategies, and success stories. This collaborative approach strengthens the collective impact of anti-trafficking efforts. Digital storytelling through blogs, podcasts, and videos offers a compelling way to share narratives of survivors, activists, and those who work against trafficking. These personalized stories can deeply resonate within the audience, fostering empathy and inspiring action. And from North America, the best way to transform and combat the reality of human trafficking in our countries with compassion is to ask victims and survivors how they can be supported, and at best, to give them the means to act. In response to the question as to how Talitha could better accompany and empower victims and survivors, and better address in particular the questions of prevention and demand, several networks pointed to the need to establish centers and facilities where they can welcome and house victims and survivors. Many networks highlighted the need for ongoing training for members, education and job opportunities to empower survivors, and psychological support for victims as part of a holistic, integral approach to accompaniment. There were strong calls to take a multifaceted approach to human trafficking that gives survivors a leading role, prioritizing their needs and voices in order to combat and prevent this widespread phenomenon. The perspectives and experiences of survivors provide valuable insights to accompanying those who have suffered from human trafficking and preventing others from falling prey to it. If they are ready and willing to do so, they can also play a key role in raising awareness by sharing their stories and inspiring hope in healing. Talitha Burkina Faso first needs premises as a headquarters with a well-equipped reception center before aspiring to effective accompaniment and empowerment of victims and survivors. Because how can you accompany someone if there's no place to sit? How do you talk about empowering someone who sleeps on the street or in train stations? As Talitha Kum workers, it's important to believe in people who are victims, to believe that each person has the best in him or herself, to believe that people are experts in their own lives and are capable of resuming life with dignity. But to do that, we have to give them or put them in conditions that respect their dignity as children of God. This is how we can, first, promote training in income-generating activities, and second, help and guide victims in their search for employment. Receive more love and attention. They experience difficulties in dreaming of a more hopeful future and lack support to make their dreams come true. And we would now like to conclude with this video from Vietnam. We hope that we can hear it. Thank you.
We enhance human dignity. We do communications activities against human trafficking.
We go to the churches. We go to remote areas and volunteer school.
To share suitable topics for children about protecting themselves. For adults, we talk about how to fight rehabilitation and self-jobs. In this complex society, it is really necessary for us to know about the size of fraud. Just recognizing size, everyone will avoid big risks. Before joining Talitha Kum, I didn't pay too much attention to human trafficking. But now, this is truly a huge injustice for the victims. Therefore, together we spread this awareness to friends, to relatives. Especially, we want to ensure that women and children are respected. Moreover, we all have great dignity. We, Talitha Kum, want to convey this message to everyone, children, youth, and adults, especially in remote areas where they need to be better understood.
You have a dream, and I have a dream. Talitha Kum hosts an art competition for children and students. It's not just a playground, it's also a space for them to draw their dreams. Who do the children want to become? And what kinds of family do they dream of? We encourage children and students to express their dream, aspire for greatness, and firmly believe in the future. We are not for self, we are for love. Stop trafficking, start caring. Pick up, break the silence on sexual abuse.
Prayer is a powerful way for us to fight. Even though we may not be able to act directly, we always focus on the victim so that no one left behind. In this way, no matter where we are in the world, we raise our voice collectively and hand in hand to put an end to human trafficking.
Thank you very much to the youth of Talitha Kum Vietnam, and thank you to all of you for your attention to this global synthesis and most of all, to those in this room and those who are at home joining us online, thank you for what you did to help the voices of people on the grassroots of Talitha come all the way here to Rome so that this General Assembly could truly be an experience of journeying together. And the journey doesn't stop here. We continue journeying with you, with your voices, as we move forward together towards these next 5 years to come. And Marion, before we move to our next moment in the program, Marion will briefly explain how we will reflect further in the light of this synthesis this afternoon. Marion.
Alors, je vais d'abord passer la parole à Angela, qui vient d'arriver à côté de moi.
Thank you, Marion. I just wish to invite each one of you where you are, take a minute in silence. Welcome what we have just heard from this team, the synthesis. Take a time to listen back what you shared, this shared wisdom. Kindly, let's take 1 minute in silence. May the gift of the Holy Spirit empower us to journey together in compassion, in action for transformation. Thank you. Marion, I give you a word.
Merci beaucoup, Angela. Un grand merci aussi à Anne, à Giulia d'avoir fait tout ce travail, d'avoir présenté tout ce travail que vous avez fait aussi, vous qui êtes présents ici, tous ceux qui sont présents aussi, qui nous suivent en ligne, qui font partie du réseau de Talitha Cum. Comme on l'a dit plusieurs fois, c'est vraiment une grande joie d'être tous réunis et nous sommes tous ensemble. Ce qu'on vous a présenté ce matin, nous aurons l'opportunité, après le déjeuner, à partir de 14h30, d'y réfléchir. Les facilitatrices vont nous expliquer le processus. En tout cas, nous vous invitons à continuer à penser à ce que nous vous avons présenté. Vous avez disponible dans les 5 langues une synthèse de 10 pages de tout ce que nous ont envoyé tous les réseaux, qui est disponible sur le lien Drive que nous vous avons envoyé au début de l'Assemblée, où nous avons mis différents matériaux, notamment le programme, etc. Si jamais vous avez besoin d'aide pour retrouver ce lien, on peut vous aider. En tout cas, vous avez tout qui est accessible ici, et on nous réexpliquera cet après-midi comment on vous propose de continuer à réfléchir sur cette synthèse qui a été faite. C'est maintenant l'heure, je pense, de conclure cette matinée, cette première partie de l'Assemblée. Il y a eu un petit changement de programme. La liturgie d'ouverture sera à midi, à la chapelle. Donc nous vous invitons maintenant à sortir, il y a une pause, vous allez voir qu'il y a des biscuits, des boissons qui sont disponibles pour se réjouir ensemble, prendre une pause, et on se retrouve à midi à la chapelle qui n'est pas très loin d'ici. Merci beaucoup.